Hello, everyone. My name is Xander Raphael. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Climb Credit. Now, Climb is a student finance company aimed at funding what we call skills-based education. This is education that transforms someone's human capital, education that doesn't cost very much and helps close the skills gap in the employment sector. We live in a funny time where there is, at one hand, a student loan crisis, which we'll talk about in a moment, and at the other, many employers in America say that they cannot find skilled labor to fill the jobs that they have, which is strange. If more people were getting an education, which is what we're seeing in the student loan crisis, you'd expect more employers to be able to find it. So let's dive right into that. The first thing we need to understand about Climb is on the next slide. There we go. The first thing we need to understand about Climb is what the student loan crisis actually is. And to our mind, the student loan crisis is not a crisis of lending. It's not as though there are usurious rates being charged to students. It's a crisis of education. So what you see on this chart is graduation rates on the x-axis and default rates on federal loans on the y-axis. And you don't need to be a statistician to see that as graduation rates go up, students are more able to pay off their loans. The lower the dot, the more people pay off their loan, the higher the dot, the fewer people pay off their loan. The further right, the more graduates. So what Climb focuses on is identifying and funding schools on the far right of that chart. And once you do that, suddenly the student loan crisis changes, because if you can finance someone's education that is going to transform their income, if you go to the next slide, you see the same trend on starting salary and graduation rates. This is the same chart, but with starting salary on the x-axis. So if you can identify a program that graduates someone and gets them a job that pays them well, the student loan crisis starts to diminish. And this is what Climb does. Climb expands access to quality education. We do this by providing instant financing to students and integrated support and software for schools. This is built on top of our in-house school outcomes database. You need to understand the outcomes the schools provide their students in order to underwrite these loans effectively. We've raised over $400 million of lending capital to fund these loans. And it's based on these three core principles at the bottom. First, we need to understand the return to students from the education they're buying. And if you understand that, as I showed on the last two slides, you can understand the risk you're taking on the loans. The second is that by understanding that, we're able to offer financing to students who would never be able to qualify for financing otherwise. Students who either don't have a credit score or have struggled financially in the past. But if they're going to a school that is going to fundamentally transform their earning potential, there's no reason that having not paid their credit card debt a few years ago should stop them from accessing that education. But that is exactly what's happening today. Now, in doing that, we're able to share risks with the schools. So the school's incentives are aligned with ours. They do well if the students do well. And finally, at the very back of it, we understand what happens to the students afterwards, which helps us build out that database. So we've now been operating since 2014. We've signed over 70 high ROI skills partners, funded thousands of students at these schools. We're the largest funder of coding boot camps in the country. We finance healthcare training programs, industrial skills training, IT training, generally short-term programs, 2 years, 3 years and less and under, programs that actually elevate people into higher income. And what you see in the chart below is an expression of this. This is the ROI of education. If you view education like an investment with a cost and a return, the cost being the cost of tuition, the return being your increased salary, you can actually chart out the IRR of that investment and share that with students and schools. And what you see here is a number of four-year institutions on the left and our partners on the right using the same methodology of money in, money out. Now, this is not to say that going to Stanford or Harvard or Caltech is a bad decision. It is simply to say that there are many of what other people would call vocational schools or career-based schools that are providing amazing returns to their students, that for a relatively low price in a relatively short amount of time are graduating students into highly paying jobs. And when you do that, that's great for the student. Clearly, that's a great business model for the school. It's great from a lender because I'm more likely to be repaid by funding those students. But the tricky thing is that of those thousands of students that we've funded at those schools on the right, most of them would not have been able to afford that education had we not been there. Either there's a gap in addition to the federal funding that is provided to the schools, or the schools themselves don't have access to federal funding, which is why we need to step in and get involved. Now, once we are funding these students that schools otherwise wouldn't be able to have in their program, the schools are suddenly willing to participate in the risk of the loans with us. Now, this fundamentally transforms the lender-school-student relationship. Schools no longer are simply incentivized to fill every seat they possibly can with any student. They will make more money if their students graduate and succeed, and less if they don't. And every school, all of the 70-plus schools we've signed on, every school has a model like this. Now, in this model, this is just an illustrative one I have in the slide, schools get some money that is theirs to keep and more money if the students succeed. From the student's perspective, they had one loan. And by doing this, for the first time, the student, the school, and the lenders are all incentivized in the same way to have the student succeed. Everyone wins if they win. Now, in this model, we're even able to say to an admissions rep at a school, you can tell your students there is no no. We will provide some sort of financing solution to the students. So from when a student sits down, that biggest concern, can I afford this quality program, goes away. They will get an answer. They will get a yes through Climb. It's an easy student experience. It takes 2 minutes to apply, instant decisions on nearly everyone. We provide a massive amount of data to the school because they have to manage their inbound applicants. They have to manage the funnel of students coming in, and we provide data to them on that through a portal. And subsequently, we're able to track the student outcomes afterwards. So what you see here is a chart with each dot comparing the previous and post income after the program. Anything above that middle line means the students are earning more. This data we're now using with the Department of Education on the EQUIP program, a White House-sponsored scholarship fund, and the New York Federal Reserve, who says this data just doesn't exist anywhere else. So we're Climb Credit. If you'd like to help expand access to quality education, please find me afterwards. My email is zander@climbcredit.com, Z-A-N-D-E-R. Thanks.